Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. Thank you for tuning into another Supatease video. And with this one, I wanted to bring you my top 10 most overpowered PvP things in patch 9.1. So these might be items, legendaries, changes, maybe an entire class, culminated into what I would consider to be the top 10 strongest. So these are things that you either need to really pick up, or maybe something that you should definitely check out or have on your side when you're going to be engaging in PvP in 9.1. And there's going to be a hidden bonus ranking too as well at the end of the video that really is going to sum up how I expect this season to go and what you should really plan for moving into the future. Now let's get started. Here at number 10, we are going to be looking at the Arcanosphere. And the main reason that this is coming in at number 10 for Arcane Mage is because Arcane Mage is just generally not as popular of a specialization. You won't see it as much, although this spell, when fully channeled with all of your cooldowns popped, will absolutely KO a target. I have seen crits upwards of 45,000 on this spell. If you're looking to just have a good time in a random battleground or solo PvP or even competitive play, Arcanosphere is something that you're going to need to pick up and something that you're going to need to look out for when you're PvPing against arcane mages. It can be very easy to kind of just forget that they're there because this spell didn't exist for the entirety of the game's existence, but then, oh, there's a giant Goku spirit bomb in the sky. I wasn't ready for this, and now I'm dead. That is likely going to be the situation if you aren't paying attention to this. The main reason it comes in at number 10 is because it's a bit more obvious of the PvP things. You can see it being channeled, you can see the cooldowns popped, and as long as you're aware of it, paying attention to it, and maybe have an add-on to help you figure out when it's being casted, you'll have counters to deal with it. But it is still absolutely powerful, which is why it makes it into the top 10. Now coming in at number 9, we're going to be taking a look at a class, and this is just Havoc Demon Hunter. Period. We could talk about the hunt, we could talk about its damage, we could talk about its cooldowns, talk about its CC, but all of it is absolutely cultivating an amazing specialization in patch 9.1. You will have a phenomenal time in solo PvP, 2v2, rated BGs, 3v3. You will fit in almost anything. You are a jack of all trades and a master of them all as well. There's really not too many downsides aside from dying to heavy burst damage in a stun, which is the main reason that you might have said after that all the description, how isn't it ranked higher, that I think it comes lower at number 9, because I think there's a lot of other specializations, trinkets, compositions that can counter it and burst it down in a stun. But if a team doesn't have that option, you will feel like an invincible god class, and I would have to recommend it overall. What's happened to it now is that it's got amazing sustain and it's got amazing burst damage with a great defensive toolkit for your PvP team. So it's definitely a great pickup. You're going to want to need to pay attention to this. You're going to want to know how to counter it, and as I've said, locking it down in a stun, popping your burst cooldowns and coordinating them together is going to be the best option for taking out the Havoc Demon Hunter. Coming in at number 8, we're going to be taking a look at a legendary. And this is a legendary provided most notably to Restoration Shaman, mostly because Elemental and Enhancement just can't afford dropping their main legendary for their specialization. But as Restoration, you can seemingly just, kind of toss the Earth Shield legendary away. I'm a DPS now. I'm calling in Dwayne, and it's going to be Dwayne the Rock, Deep Tremor Stone Johnson. This is going to be a 60-second Earth Elemental with Earthquake permanently attached to it, doing as much damage as an aforementioned Demon Hunter for that 60 seconds. You pair this up in any sort of Restoration Shaman melee cleave, and you will be an absolute terror. You will be destroying enemies. If you're a Restoration Shaman and you haven't picked up this legendary, you need to pick up this legendary. This legendary is absolutely insane. Probably the main reason that Resto Shaman is becoming more and more competitive currently in the meta, and definitely a major standout point if you're interested in trying a Restoration Shaman out as a healer is to pick this thing up and just let it do work. Because not only is it going to do as much damage as a Demon Hunter, it's going to randomly stun people, annoy them, and interrupt them a lot. So that's the best of both worlds. You're going to be doing insane damage and pissing people off. Does it really get better than that? I don't think so. But it comes in at number 8 because it's just a legendary. It's not really meta defining, although it has its place. It's not going to take control of the entire ladder, but it's more of a unique niche. So it comes in a little bit lower in the rankings at number 8. But you can already see we've gone over some pretty crazy stuff. We're only at the bottom of the list. We haven't even gotten to the bonus round. Coming in at number 7, we're going to be taking a look at the Windwalker Monk. And Windwalker Monk, similar to Demon Hunter, is just doing insane damage. I've seen clips of double Windwalker monks, Rising Sun kicking people and just KOing them immediately from 100%. It's the same old with Windwalker Monk. I would say that for them, it's really some of the changes that came in 9.1 towards armor. That was very specific to why they're now becoming more and more successful. They were already very powerful with their cooldowns. Much like Demon Hunter, their major weakness is getting pinned down in a stun and bursted, and there's still a lot of that in the meta. But the main reason I think Windwalker comes out a little bit more ahead is it can be more slippery. If you're preemptive in your moves, you can prevent your own death a lot more than a Demon Hunter is going to be able to. And its toolkit is a little bit more deep and defined, which gives you more options and skill cap to play around with, which is why I think its potential is higher. So it comes a bit higher on the list. I think this is a specialization you're going to see a lot of if you're worried about Windwalker Monk and whether or not you should pick up one in PvP. After seeing everything that's happened, yeah, Windwalker Monk is going to be a great pickup for you. Definitely moving throughout the season. It's going to have a lot of versatility. It's going to be great in 1v1, solo PvP. You'll have an awesome time with it. It's definitely one of the most overpowered things, coming in at number 7. Coming in at number 6, we're going to be taking a look at another legendary, and this legendary is towards druids. I would say most notably for Feral Druid as well as Balanced Druid. If you're running the Night Fae Covenant, this is the Celestial Spirit Legendary. This is what's going to reduce the cooldown of your Convoke the Spirits to 1 minute. Paired up with Naya, you're going to get 500 Mastery. You're going to have a massive Mastery buff every minute, and you are going to get a ton of Star Surges or Ferocious Bites during its timing. Specifically, Feral Druids with Hunters, timing this in their stuns during Freezing Trap can be just completely devastating to anybody in PvP. It's amazing for solo PvP. If a person doesn't have a trinket, they are just going to die to this Convoke. It is going to do massive damage. If you're playing Night Fae, or if you're worried about dropping out of Night Fae, or should you be Night Fae, you want to have a lot of fun, you're going to need to get this legendary to go along with it. You will absolutely KO people. The main reason that this is coming in at number 6 and not towards the top end of the list is because it can be crowd controlled, it can be disrupted, you can trade trinkets with it, but you need to react really, really fast to deal with this. Definitely check it out if you are a Night Fae Druid at the moment, especially Feral or Balance in PvP. Moving in at number 5, we're going to start looking at the Fire Mage. Ring of Fire. I think a lot of people, even myself, we kind of just overlooked this as an honor talent. I think a lot of players were thinking Fire Mage was not going to be in the best position. Frost was going to be, but it's actually starting to look like more the case that Fire is going to be the best mage specialization. And the main reason that Ring of Fire is so potent is that it functions at a power level of combustion. So having combustion and Ring of Fire is like having 2 combustions. And if you've got 2 combustions, pretty much every stun attempt from your rogue, as I've seen Fire Mages playing with rogues quite a lot, and healers since the dawn of time, actually, that's how long I've been seeing them play together, you're just going to have something every time the rogue has a stun, which is going to be amazing for you. Rogue Mage is absolutely dominating in the ladder at the moment. You're going to want to pay attention to this. The main goal of the Ring of Fire as counterplay is to get out of it. Don't go anywhere near it. It's got a cast time. You can see it coming. Maybe save some interrupts for it and plan for it. But it will absolutely devastate you if a Fire Mage is able to connect this and then into succession with a combustion, paired up with Tricks of the Trade from the Rogue to amplify their damage even further. Dark Archangel. Rogue Mage is even more of a menace than ever. And this comes in at number 5. Coming in at number 4, we're going to be looking at the Shadow Priest. And this is specifically 2 honor talents that have come in 9.1. The Void Volley, where upon entering Void form, you send slow-moving shadow energy. So if any melee attackers are near you, you are basically going to permanently stun them. You've got to make sure that you're close to your target. Otherwise, the chance of it landing on them is very slim. But if they're nearby, definitely want to pick this up against double melee DPS, and there's a lot of that. But you will just permanently stun them, oftentimes preventing them from using defensive cooldowns. This can be really nasty when you play with a rogue, which is already locking down the target a lot, and then you can lock them down further off diminishing return, and you will absolutely dominate the battlefield with this against the melee cleaves. You need to pick it up, and it's super fun for you when you activate it as the Shadow Priest to just completely control your enemies. And then Megalomania, which is going to allow you the Surrendered Madness talent, which is basically you're going to have 2 Void Form activations, gives you twice the chance to get Void Volleys, or just having twice as many goes for burst windows. Similar to the Fire Mage getting more burst opportunities, you are now getting that. Shadow Priest is also very durable. I've seen Shadow Priest Warrior just absolutely mop the floor with a lot of teams in PvP. It's a great solo PvP class. If you're looking to pick it up, it's definitely one of the top ones on my list in terms of PvP recommendations. And I do think that it is going to be a ladder terror at the moment. And it comes in at number 4 because of its flexibility, because of its non-diminishing return stuns, and because of its burst frequency. I think that Shadow is going to be an absolute nightmare. Now coming in at number 3, we're going to be taking a look at the Ret Paladin. What do you know? It's just the Ret Paladin. Word of Glory got nerfed, but it still does a lot of healing. You're going to be providing a ton of support. And the main reason that this class is so powerful is its burst damage. It really hasn't changed too much. It's kind of the same old story. Seraphim, Avenging Wrath, Divine Toll, Final Verdict. You are going to be cracking skulls with massive damage. You pair up with the Necrolord Warrior, making the warrior just borderline unkillable, but also providing you the Necrolord banner for more mastery towards you as the Ret Paladin. You will just absolutely KO people. This has been one of the most prevalent specializations on the ladder throughout Season 1 and Season 2, and I don't expect that to change too much. One of the main things that kept this specialization in line has been Rogue Mage, and it has been Double Caster. I haven't seen too much double caster, and I think that is more so because of some of the changes that came early in 9.1. We'll have to wait for the bonus round to really go over that. But yes, if you pick up a Ret Paladin, you are going to have a good time. You're going to be desirable in LFG. You're going to be able to carry people. It is just all around an amazing specialization at the moment, and it works with almost anything, and it fits perfectly in the burst damage meta. Coming in at number 2 is the Beast Mastery Hunter. Did we think that we forgot this? I actually did forget it the first time that I was making this list. And you might be thinking initially here, Beast Mastery is only number 2. What could possibly be more overpowered than Beast Mastery Hunter right now? This specialization, I'm not sure if it's the pet child of Blizzard here, but it's gotten a lot of buffs after buffs after buffs after buffs after buffs with some other changes that have definitely gone in its favor. You will just absolutely crack people with damage, just flat out insane damage, overwhelming amounts of damage. If you haven't made a Beast Mastery Hunter, and I've said this in a lot of videos, you really need to make a Beast Mastery Hunter right now. You are absolutely going to have a great time on it in pretty much all content. Maybe 1v1, you get maybe a little bit weaker, but even there, I'm debating if you actually are. I think you can almost just crush people before it even really matters that you have not too much sustainability. But the main reason that Beast Mastery Hunter is coming in at number 2 is because the number 1 choice is the most flexible, I think the most required in-demand item in PvP for patch 9.1. And coming in at number 1 is going to be, we leaked the bonus round, is going to be the Unchained Gladiator's Shackles. If you haven't picked up this quest in the PvP vendor area in Oribos to go to Korthia and kill 20 players, you need to do it. You can't put it off. Can't be lazy about not doing it as a PvP player. You have to do this. This trinket is going to be the meta-defining trinket of the patch, similar to the Maledict in Battle for Azeroth. This is an amazing trinket. It is a channeled effect that stacks up a healing absorb, which does a ton of damage along with it. And because you can get it at such a high early item level at this point in the season, it's even more powerful right now, which makes it even more important to get it right now. Don't you want a free trinket that's super high item level that does massive amounts of damage and completely counters the hybrid healing that's available in the game? Yeah, you do. So you should go and get the trinket. Okay, it's pretty simple. Pretty much everybody in the game is going to be wanting this. The only situations I see where you're going to be maybe taking this off is for a battle master against Rogue Mage. But even then, it's such a powerful trinket that I think you may still find it desirable. Its main counters are decurse. So you can decurse the channel effect. I don't know why the channel is a curse, that the chain holding somebody is a curse, but you can remove it. So you need to make sure that you're decursing the channel if you can. Mages, shamans, druids, etc. And then as a healer, you can remove the absorption effect, but you're going to have to wait for it to stack. And it's doing a lot of damage during that time that it's stacking, and maybe you didn't hold your dispel or something. So this can be a really difficult trinket to play around, but you need to be paying attention to it. Now coming through to the bonus round that we accidentally leaked a little bit is armor nerfs and early weapons. So being able to get your weapon this early on is going to be super important paired up with the armor nerfs. There were significant nerfs to armor and how armor scales at the moment in PvP, which is why all these melee DPS on top of their buffs are just doing so much damage at the moment. And if you manage to get a weapon, you're going to get outright crushed. So there might be a lot of times where you're playing and you're like, wow, why did we lose there? It might just be that player got their weapon from the vault. I'm not going to lie here. I got my weapon from the vault today, but I'm not melee DPS, so it's not even as amazing as if you're a warrior who got this or a rep paladin who got this. Those are probably the two main classes that wanted to get their weapons really early on: enhancement shaman, demon hunter. But I think that these things right here are really going to define the patch for the reasons that I've just mentioned, because having reduced armor means these physical damage dealers are going to be a lot more powerful, and then getting your weapon early on top of the armor being reduced, on top of the damage being buffed, is really allowing for a ton of burst damage. So this is going to be really fast. I think patch 9.1 PvP, at least so far, is going to be a very fast PvP season, and healers, you better get ready. I'm just saying, like, you got to be on your toes with the amount of damage that's available right now in patch 9.1. But other than that, thank you very much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed my top 10 most overpowered things in PvP for patch 9.1. If you did, please leave the video with a thumbs up. Comment down below with what you think is currently the most overpowered in patch 9.1. Subscribe to the channel. It's absolutely free. Just lets you know when my videos go live if you like this type of content, so that you can follow along with it in real time. We do some PvP updates. We do some PvP guides. We just talk about World of Warcraft in general, so it's a great resource, and I have got a lot of testimonials from people that it has improved their play overall by watching my videos. So thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.